Coming up next on Arizona Horizon's Journalist Roundtable, we'll discuss Superintendent Diane Douglas's plea for additional K-12 education funding. And we'll have the latest on Governor Doug Ducey's trip to Mexico. The Journalist Roundtable is next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon's Journalist Roundtable. I'm Steve Goldstein, filling in for Ted Simons. Joining us tonight, Rachel Leingang of the Arizona Capital Times, Howard Fisher of Capital Media Services, and Mike Sunnix of the Phoenix Business Journal. Superintendent of Public Instruction Diane Douglas unveiled her proposal for improving K-12 education in Arizona, which includes a plea for just over $600 million. Howie, how does she want that distributed?
Well, it starts off with an additional $200 million in basic state aid, which right now basic state aid is probably $3.5 billion. So it's not a lot, but again, it bumps us up. On top of that, she wants $140 million a year for teacher salary increases. We have one of the highest turnovers in the nation and some of the lowest salaries. Something like 1 out of every 4 teachers leaves in the first year. Some of that because of salaries, and another 20% leave in the second year. Then there's money for school construction and repairs. We haven't fully funded that formula that the Supreme Court mandated in years. And then there's some things for rural school districts, particularly rural transportation, buses, some of the costs that they incur that urban districts don't have.
And Rachel, what was reaction?
There's some skepticism about where the money would come from, and we're not in an economic crisis right now, so there are a lot of people clamoring for more money for various causes. This is just going to be another one of those. Education's always a big battle at the legislature, so I'm sure there were a lot of people who were really positively seeing this. There's nobody who can argue that teachers don't deserve more money, and then there were the more practical folks who were wondering where exactly that's going to come from.
Well, she'd take from the rainy day fund. There's $450 million in there. And she talked about this last year, too. She wanted more money pumped in there before Prop 123 got passed. She's been consistent on this. I mean, she's a conservative, populist Republican against Common Core, but she's been a friend to the teachers' unions, who are usually Democrats, in pushing for higher teacher pay, and the state legislature taking money from the rainy day fund, from the surplus, and putting it towards K-12 schools.
Well, it's not so much as a friend to the teachers' union. She has served on a school board. And I think she recognizes when you see the turnover and the cost of bringing in new teachers and training them and getting them up to speed. And if you're always bringing in new teachers who, it takes a certain amount of time to understand not just the academics of it, how to control a class, how to get information across. And I think she recognizes that we're being short-sighted about it.
And she's really bucked Republican orthodoxy on this, because the business groups and the Republican policymakers have either deferred to the governor on this, on the proposition, or not wanted to take rainy day fund or surplus money to put towards K-12 schools necessarily. And so she's been consistently going against the grain in her own party on this, and kind of siding with folks that are on the other side.
We do have a real competitiveness problem, too, with our neighboring states pretty much all pay more for their teachers. So if you graduated from a teacher's college here, you could easily go not too far away and make more money. For folks, especially like in northeastern Arizona, near California, they're getting way better benefits across the border. They're getting way better pay. I mean, there's really nothing to keep them here. So if a little bit of a pay increase can help entice people who want to stay in Arizona, I think that'd probably be a good thing.
Howie, let's balance $25 million, which supposedly is available for new programs in the next legislative session, with $680 million that Diane Douglas is proposing. Is it possible there will be a happy medium, or is that not possible?
Well, I don't see them raiding the rainy day fund. I think it took them long enough to build it back to about $450 million, which in a state with a $9.67 billion budget is not a big kind of bank account. They're not going to raise taxes. They're not going to suspend the corporate tax cuts that are being phased in. So the question becomes, is there other money in the couch, coins in there, if you will? Can you make state agencies any more efficient? Are there things that you can consolidate? I have a feeling what the governor is going to propose in January is going to be more than $25 million. I think he recognizes he needs to do something, if for no other reason that you remember. This is the guy who said, if you pass Prop 123, that'll be the first step, and I will come back and ask for more. Now, all eyes are on you, Governor, so What are you going to do?
Yeah, she's framed the issue right before the session. We're talking about it. It's a proposal that people can grasp, that voters can grasp, that we need to spend more money on K-12 schools. Teachers need a 5% increase or whatever increase we're going to give them. And she's put the pressure on the governor and on folks down at the legislature and folks in the business community who have railed against the low spending that we have. They backed Prop 123, and we know that that's not enough. There needs to be more. And so now the pressure's on all those folks to respond to her plan or come up with something else. They just can't ignore it.
Rachel, we've also heard chatter about bringing back full day K, and there would have to be additional funding for that as well. Could that be part of Governor Ducey's plan?
It's a little unclear how he was viewing that. Last year he didn't really say as much. There were some people who were pushing that. He wasn't on board. This year he seems a little bit more on board from what I've seen, but it's a lot. It would be a lot of money. It's a big policy change. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
And the governor has, as Rachel points out, said, oh yeah, well, I sort of like that idea. And I sort of like the idea of raising teacher salaries. And I sort of like the idea that we should have 60% of our kids with post-secondary education, which was another thing he signed on to. Well, again, where's the money? And not only is he not going to raise taxes, but remember, this guy got elected with a promise that every year I'm going to introduce a tax cut, even if a small one.
And this has been a generation we've had of these tax cuts that are backed by Republicans in the business community, and they've never abandoned them. And the pressure will be maybe on them. Maybe the Democrats bring this up. Is at some point, is it schools versus these tax cuts? And what if we do away or not phase in these tax cuts? What it can bring to teachers and the classrooms?
Has Diane Douglas been a surprise? I don't mean her points of view, but we consider this woman was a pariah when she was running against David Garcia. Even after being elected, we're going to recall her. There's going to be this recall effort. Now, 2 years later, it appears that maybe she is not a public figure. She had the interesting thing with Greg Miller on the state board, but as far as her ideas go, is she finding some traction?
I think so. I think she's filling a void there. The stuff with Greg Miller, that's called kind of inside baseball. I don't know how much voters pay attention to that. The business community didn't like her when she got elected. Other Republicans don't like her. She's fought with the governor. But the proposals that she's talked about are things I think if you polled people on, it would get very high ratings for paying teachers more, for taking some surplus money, some rainy day money, and putting it in towards K-12. So on that front, maybe down at the Capitol, maybe in the insiders, they don't like her. But I think she's improved her standing with voters.
But it's easier for someone in her position to say we should fund this much. She's not making that decision. So, it's an impractical amount that she's saying. I don't know if she knows that or not. It plays well with voters, but she doesn't have that practical position of actually having to balance a budget.
But what she's got is that bully pulpit. And that's important. As you point out, Mike, she's now set the bar. Okay, $680 million. Now, we're not going to get $680 million. Okay, Governor, ball's in your court. You're going to give a state of the state, in January. You're going to have a budget out in January. What are you going to do? Essentially, she's put him on the
And it's definitely
spot.
made education, I think, the top issue going in. I don't see immigration is obviously a big national issue with Trump, but I don't see it at state level being an issue. And I think that K-12 spending will be the big issue, at least for the first part of the session.
Let's talk more about more hundreds of millions of dollars. Howie, Lucid Motors, $680 million we're talking about for K-12 education. About $700 million Lucid Motors is talking about as far as Casa Grande, as far as building electric cars in Arizona. Give us some background on that.
Lucid Motors is one of these California startups, actually existed under a different name for a few years. They've mainly been making batteries. Now they've decided, we can put together a $130,000, 400-mile range, all-electric vehicle, and we're just looking for a place to make it. Well, Arizona, of course, goes chasing these great elephants, and they cut a deal where we're going to give you perhaps $45 million in tax breaks. Casa Grande or Pinal County is going to buy them some land, and they're going to put up $700 million to build this plant, to build perhaps 130,000 cars a year. Small problem, they don't have $700 million. The company insists, we're going to go out for more fundraising. Life will be great. We'll have plenty of money. Nothing to see here. Now, for the state, it doesn't mean anything. Other than not getting it because the incentives are tied to production of jobs. Pinal County is buying 493 acres of industrial property for this thing, And if Lucid doesn't come, they're sitting on some fairly expensive farmland.
Yeah, so how many risks are there? How big pitfall? How big
Well,
could a
there's
pitfall
some
be?
risk. I mean, this all dates back to Tesla Motors, Elon Musk's company. We were in the running for that, including Pinal County, in California, Texas, New Mexico, and Nevada. Nevada gave a huge incentive, huge tax break, much bigger than what we're giving for this to land this plant, his battery plant, up near Reno. And then another Chinese company that's going to build electric cars came in, landing in Nevada. And so we were kind of in the game for these types of companies. We're trying to build manufacturing jobs. There's always that call to diversify our economy away from tourism, away from real estate. And so anytime a manufacturing company comes, this is kind of supposed to be a cutting edge, obviously, company with electric cars. So that appeals to the governor, who's been very pro or Uber and Lyft and all these companies. The risk is, like Howie said, are these things ever going to get built? Or is it going to happen?
Well, and there's another risk too. This relies on a good relationship with Mexico. The parts are being built in Sonora and passed over the border through here. If we get rid of NAFTA, those parts may be taxed. I mean, our trade relationship with them may change. We don't know. The president certainly has been against NAFTA and really hardcore against it, but locally here we tend to benefit a lot from it. So that's a risk too. You never know how international trade and relations will change.
Well, and a great segue, because Governor Ducey is in Mexico and he is talking trade. Does the governor have enough when it comes to the importance of the relationship between Arizona and Mexico to either contradict what Donald Trump has said? Can Arizona still have that close relationship even if the president of the United States is saying different things?
Ducey's probably more consistent than Trump. Trump has said a lot of things that are very unpredictable. Ducey tends to be pretty close to the vest. He says things only once they're pretty clear that it's going to happen. So on that level, he's dealing more interpersonally. People who are in the Arizona-Mexico office, they're going to know who they're dealing with here. But he doesn't make those decisions about NAFTA. So.
And this is where it's going to get real interesting, because the fact is that Ducey is much more representative of the Republican majority, even in Congress. These have always been pro-trade people. It's been the Democrats who traditionally have said they're stealing our jobs. NAFTA will probably be renegotiated in some form. Now, the question is whether people like the governor, people like the more traditional Republicans like Paul Ryan, can say, that's nice, maybe we can rejigger it, but we're dependent on this cross-border trade. We're dependent on cross-border tourism. We're dependent on the fact that you do have companies that build some parts in Mexico and some parts in the United States, and you're going to destroy both economies if, in fact, you just blow up NAFTA.
The issue for the governor and all Republicans is Donald Trump just won that race because he carried Wisconsin, because he carried Ohio, because he carried Michigan, because he carried Pennsylvania. Those are states that have lost thousands of manufacturing jobs because of trade deals and because of globalization. That's where your bread is buttered. And so there's a lot, Howie's right, there's all kinds of free traders in the Republican Party. They're all here in Arizona. McCain, Flake tell you how great NAFTA is for this state because we're on the border. Mm-hmm. We have a president in the office because he got elected on two issues: immigration, Hillary Clinton's corruption, three issues: Hillary Clinton's corruption and trade. And he won Wisconsin and those states because of trade. And so I think that's where his priority is. And we have to realize here, I think in Arizona sometimes we always act like the weaker partner with Mexico. The United States is not the weaker partner with Mexico in this. I think you could see them actually rejigger NAFTA in a way that can work for both countries. There's obviously the business Trump that does those types of things, and there's the rhetorical Trump that everybody worries about. But Rachel's right. There's a lot of supply chain between on the border in Mexico and these border states in terms of the auto industry and other industries in connecting. And if those deals go south, then there's an issue. But this is one thing where I think the free traders are kind of at a disadvantage with the president because I don't think he's going to give in on
Well,
this.
if you lost your job because of NAFTA, then you know about NAFTA. But there's a lot of people who are, benefiting from cheaper products. They're, getting avocados in North Dakota in the middle of winter. They don't know necessarily why those things are happening. There hasn't been really a lot said about the benefits of NAFTA. So in the coming months here, the people who are advocates for those agreements are probably going to need to work really hard to say this is what we're getting out of it.
One thing that's interesting is our Governor Ducey, grew up in Toledo, Ohio. So I think he knows about what's going on in those Rust Belt states with free trade, where it may work in border regions, but it hasn't worked there. So I think he understands the balance.
But wait a second. Look, the problem with a lot of that is, I went to high school in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Bethlehem Steel. Part of the reason the steel industry doesn't exist is the fact is it's become more efficient. You don't need as many people. These manufacturing jobs, even if we were to blow up NAFTA, even if the whole Pacific Rim trade agreement doesn't happen, are not coming back. You don't need as many people. You're not going to bring back textile mills. You're not going to bring back old style coal. And so, it's nice rhetoric for the politicians. It can't happen.
But I do think people look at what's gone on with Ford, not moving to Mexico. What's gone with Carrier?
Oh, they bought some
moving to
big deal.
Mexico.
They bought some jobs. You got the governor.
But how you had John McCain, you had Mitt Romney, free traders. Did they carry any of the states that Donald Trump carried? No, they lost. He's in the White House because of those states, and trade is an issue with those people and jobs issue.
You're going to buy. What did they cost per job to keep Carrier there? And that was state money. Yeah, you want to buy jobs, you can buy jobs. Maybe that's what we're doing here. With Lucid, but you can't do that for 20 million jobs.
This is a split in the Republican Party where you have blue collar Republicans who elected Trump versus the free traders and folks on the business side who like those agreements.
One other thing that Donald Trump has in common with Doug Ducey is the ability to pick Supreme Court justices. Governor Ducey added 2 in Arizona earlier this week to start off a busy week. Why do we have 2 more seats on the Arizona Supreme Court, Rachel?
That was a really good segue. Last legislative session, we passed a bill that would add 2 more seats, and so Ducey got to fill those now. There was a lot of people who said he's going to be able to pack a court. Really concerns that maybe Republicans now are supporting it, but if it were a Democratic governor, would they also support that? So it made it through. We now have 2 new justices. We have our first Hispanic. Though he was pretty reluctant to say, he said he didn't want to get the job based on that. He wanted his merits to speak for themselves. So it's John Lopez, the Solicitor General, and then Andrew Gould, who's from the Court of Appeals, both with pretty good credentials, a lot of experience.
And the nice thing we have in Arizona is we have one of the better merit selection processes. This isn't like Texas where you spend a couple of $1 million to get elected to the Supreme Court. You have to be screened. Now, I'm not saying that means there's no politics.
Party affiliation is probably first on that list, right?
Party affiliation helps, although we had a Republican governor and Jane Hull appointed a Democrat. The governor appointed an independent and Clint Bolick earlier. But the fact is that you at least get rid of the people who could otherwise buy an office. Mm-hmm. So you end up with I don't want to call it a centrist state Supreme Court versus what you see in Washington.
Even centrist Republicans. I think when you have 7 on there, you'll have 3 from Ducey, 3 appointments, 3 from Brewer, and then Scott Bales from Napolitano. So it got passed because Republicans control the state capitol, and they pass the legislature, and the governor likes it. Now they can put some more Republicans
and Howie,
on
briefly,
the court.
Unlike the U.S. Supreme Court, which is a lifetime appointment, how long can someone serve on the Arizona Supreme Court?
You have to leave when you're 75. They've been trying to do negotiations to lengthen that. Look, as a guy who's 66, 75 ain't that old, let me tell you. But you do stand for what they call retain or reject every 6 years on the Supreme Court, and voters, I think, have turned out 4 justices since 1974 in all levels of court. So it doesn't really happen that much, which may show either we have a good judicial system or people don't know about it.
Mike, I want to briefly address the DES director soap opera. Last week, Tim Jeffries was handed his walking papers by the governor. And then this week, another initial organization, DPS, found a lot of ammunition, and not ammunition that would be used in a newspaper column, like actual ammunition that would be used in guns.
80,000 rounds. Was it 50 guns for the DES security? And they seized all that. This was how kind of the intrigue with is they seized all that when they dismissed the director and some of his key aides. And the Republic reached out to him and he said, well, after the San Bernardino attack, that was against the Social Services Agency, so they felt the need to increase security, and they took it to as much as they could with all that ammo. They had uniforms for the security officers, and it just kind of added to what you mentioned with the soap opera with the director there, with his emails, with his political advocacy, with some of his religious comments via government email, and then they had a lot of guns there.
So what has the governor had to say about Tim Jeffries? He appointed him?
So at first, when these firings first started bubbling up about a year ago, they said they wanted to clone him. They were very supportive of what he was doing. And then in the past month and a half or so, after some really great investigative reporting by a lot of folks, especially Craig Harris at the Republic, he had gone on a drinking outing with some employees, possibly during work hours. Certainly a lot of oddities like that. The governor's office ousted him, or I guess he technically resigned, but you know.
Yeah, well, the governor hinted a little bit, said, I've been very disappointed. Well, duh, when your DES director keeps landing you on the front page for doing things like you say, like religious issues, taking employees drinking. The guns were just, I've been in this business for 48 years. There's stuff you cannot make up. The head of a social service agency with his own cache of weapons. I mean, even if you believe that DES needs security, this goes way beyond the pale.
And it was a lot more ammo and weapons than some of the other agencies had for their security. It's interesting the narrative on these things. When you're successful, when you're doing a good job, and you think outside the box, you're eccentric, you're cutting edge, you know, you're Moneyball and Billy Bean. And then once the wheels come off, you're kind of a kook, right? That's how it's portrayed.
So it'll be interesting to see who the governor picks as a replacement. I mean, you need somebody who knows how to run a major agency, which is in charge of adult abuse and is in charge of things like unemployment benefits and other social programs, food stamp recipients and things like that. This is a massive agency that deals with people, but you need somebody who's both an administrator but also understands people. Supposedly Jeffries was brought in because he was going to clean house, to deal with people, make for a much friendlier place. Well, as you say, went a little off the rails.
Good discussion, everybody. Rachel, Mike, Howie, thank you. Monday on Arizona Horizon, ASU physicist Lawrence Krauss joins us in studio to discuss the latest science news. That's Monday at 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. On Tuesday, we'll see how the Black Theater Troupe will be approaching its popular Black Nativity play. Wednesday, a documentary that shows how Arizona is trying to restore its public lands and protect its water supply. Thursday, it's an Arizona Horizon in Focus. And Friday, another edition of the Journalist Roundtable. That is it for now. I'm Steve Goldstein in for Ted Simons. You have a great weekend.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.